The Nuggets championship, oh, it's so much more than this, just the love and the bragging rights and, well, probably higher ticket prices and not lots of new merchandise. It really goes beyond that to boost the local economy as more people at restaurants and bars root for the Denver Nuggets. People staked out their spot early yesterday. It will considerably boost the value of the team overall. So you might ask, what is a championship team worth? Joining us now to talk about the business behind sports is Rourke, managing editor of the Denver Business Journal. I mean, we talk about this a lot when we say especially in football, we hear it a lot. Dallas Cowboys, always one of the, what does this mean? What's the value of a team?
Sure. This is based on Forbes puts out the valuation of major league teams all the time. And valuation is based on how the sport is doing or the market size. Denver, it's not the biggest market, but it's not the smallest. It's based on the stadium value and the brand of the team. And our senior reporter, Bob Mook, talked to some sports analysts. Forbes has the Denver Nuggets at $1.93 billion. It's ranked 22 in the league.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not in the top half of the league as far as valuation at this point.
Not at this point.
But the curve is coming.
It is, and this is what we learned, is that the bump from an NBA title could be anywhere from $50 million to $200 million.
Wow.
That would put the Nuggets into that $2 billion range. Now, for comparison, the Celtics won 17 championships. They're valued at $4 billion. The Golden State Warriors at $7 billion, and the Heat that we just defeated are at $3 billion.
Yeah, sometimes that's the media market you're in too. That adds or subtracts from your value. It's good though. I was worried about Stan Kroenke financially.
I thought they were going to go under.
So this will be
they're
good
struggling.
for him. He'll finally have something to hang his hat on. So I've always felt, at least in the modern 10, 20 years now, that the Forbes valuation remained the #1 used valuation for teams. And yet when the teams actually sell, it seems like they're spiking well above those numbers when they finally actually do go to market.
That's very true. In fact, this is a unique market we're talking about, similar to maybe like luxury real estate. It takes, first of all, you have to have a team to buy, and I don't think Stan Kroenke's selling anytime soon. He's well invested in Colorado.
Yeah.
And then it takes a unique buyer. Now, Tom, I know you make a lot of money. I heard you in the market.
Right.
Yeah.
If I had the right partner.
He loves basketball.
So we see this, and does that valuation at times, does that translate back into success? Like that being considered higher? Do teams often turn that back into marketing, contracts? There's salary caps and things to consider, but teams can get better as they get richer.
Right, and so salaries aren't going to change anytime soon because they're locked into contracts, but from a recruiting standpoint, being an NBA championship or champion team, that's going to draw people, better talent. We have the best talent right now in the world, but I mean, as we build into the future, of course, that's going to be more attractive. And these numbers can be a little wonky, right? So it can depend on what the roster looks like. If we were to, lose Murray and Jokic, that could impact the value. The Toronto Raptors, when they won their first championship, they boosted 42% in value.
Wow.
But the Cleveland Cavaliers in 2016 only went up 9.1%.
I was just looking at your bar graph, that increase in valuation, and it was interesting to me because with Dan Issel just here, when Carl Scheer ran the team, they had no extra money. And when Bino and Lee bought the team, I mean, they were bankrupt. I mean, it was just a shaky operation. But they've had strong owners like Red McCombs, Ascent was good, and now you look at this. With Stan Kroenke, they're as solid as they can be from ownership, and that can make a big difference.
True, and it's a great investment. You saw that bar graph, it's steadily increased since he bought it. Is it better than the market? Maybe, but he's certainly not losing any money. Give you an example. He paid for the Avalanche and the Nuggets and Ball Arena. He spent $450 million in 2020, and now it's worth probably over $2 billion now.
Amazing.
Wow. Well, it does translate to the city and everything else, so that's a good thing.
No, it's wonderful.
Watch for those ticket sales going up, though.
That happens too. Sometimes if you have a bad year, you raise ticket prices too. So we'll see how this does.
Yeah, it's that value piece.
Chris, it's always good to see you. Chris Rourke from the Denver Business Journal.